and salutations, my dearest friends. My name is Samantha, and today I'm going to be talking about all the books that I reread over and over again. These are some of my favorite books that I constantly pick up every single year just for like my annual reread. Hi, how are you? Welcome or welcome back to my channel. I'm very excited to be filming today. If you guys didn't know, I am filming every single day. I don't know if I'm going to do every single day in the month of February or just every single day leading up to Valentine's Day. At the very least, you will get 2 weeks worth of videos, but if we keep going, we keep going. I've done videos before where I talk about like my favorite books from a specific trope or my favorite books of all time, but the books that I'm going to be talking about today are books that I reread. I feel like that is a true testament to how much I loved the reading experience that I'm willing to pick it up over and over and over again. I'll say I am very big on rereading books. About it is so comforting. Like, these are literally my comfort reads. Whenever I'm in a reading slump, whenever I'm having a bad day, whenever I'm having like a moment where I'm reading a bunch of books that I'm not enjoying, these are the books that I reach for. Like, I will pick up these books and they just bring me so much joy, so much happiness. So my first book that I reread over and over again is my favorite book of all time, which is a big claim, but you guys already know what it is, and that is Again the Magic by Lisa Kleypas. Yes, I have 3 copies. You guys knew I was going to talk about this book. If you watch my channel, I rave about this book over and over and over again. I'm obsessed with it that I actually have a tattoo. So the little cursive writing right here says Again the Magic, and it is for this book right here. There are very few books that will ever compare to it or ever give me the feeling that this book gave me. I'll explain the plot in a second, but I think the reason I love this book so much is because this holds such a special place in my heart. It was one of the first historicals that I ever read. It really catapulted me into the genre. It is a reason I created my YouTube channel. Let's talk about the synopsis. The prequel to the infamous Wallflower series that Lisa Kleypas has is an angsty second chance romance with a class difference, so it follows Lady Eileen and McKenna, who were childhood sweethearts. Lady Eileen comes from a family of noble blood, and her father does not approve of her relationship with McKenna because he's a stable boy. I don't want to spoil anything, but something does happen that kind of separates them, and years later, McKenna is back from America. He is now a self-made man with a lot of money, and he's kind of like out for revenge. He like wants to show Lady Eileen everything that she's been missing. She broke his heart, and it follows their angsty second chance romance. There's also a side romance. Queen's sister and our other hero Gideon have their side romance in here, which is also incredibly romantic. The writing is magical, hence the title. I love this book with my whole heart, body, and soul. If someone were to be like, recommend me one book, go, this would be it. Like, always this, nothing else but this. Like, I just, I love it. Like I said, I have a tattoo for it, so yeah. The reason I have 3 copies, because I'm ridiculous, this was like my original copy, and it has this beautiful step back. Spine is literally falling apart because I think I've read this at least 6 times, at least. So I want to go back this year and annotate this one. And then I have like a nice one that the spine isn't as broken, so it like looks pretty on my shelves. And then of course I have the hardcover, so yes, I need all 3 copies. Another Lisa Kleypas that I feel like doesn't get enough credit on my channel, and this is actually the first historical romance and the first Lisa Kleypas I read. I read this one and then I read Again the Magic, but literally days apart. Like, I finished this one and then I picked up this one. Suddenly You by Lisa Kleypas. This is one of her very few standalones and the first historical romance that I can remember reading. I might have read some in like high school, but I just really don't remember it. Guys, this is so embarrassing. Look at this book. Oh my god. It is falling apart because of how many times I reread it. The gorgeous step back. I do have another copy without the step back, so I'm gonna have to like leave this book alone in my next reread because it is literally like I could pick up the pages. It is oh my god, it's falling apart. Our heroine in this book, she's turning 30, and for her birthday she decides that she wants to hire some fun. Okay, she wants to hire like a male prostitute, a gigolo, whatever you want to use. She's a virgin and she does not want to spend her 30th birthday as a virgin, so she hires a sex worker. That is how our hero ends up at her door, but our hero is not a sex worker and is actually a publisher who is trying to publish one of her books because she is an author. When they first meet each other, she thinks that he is the sex worker, so they have like a steamy time. This Lisa Kleypas does not get enough love. It is so freaking good, and it's not a part of a series. You could just pick it up and read it, and I love it. I love this book. The next historical that I have read countless times. I think this is probably the most I've reread a book. I think I've read this one at least 10 times at this point, because I'm always listening to the audiobook. I really enjoy the audiobook. Sometimes I'll just like play it in the background, and that is Indigo by Beverly Jenkins. And yes, I have 3 copies as well. Oh, I love this book. Okay, Beverly Jenkins is one of my favorite historical romance authors because her writing is magnificent. She's truly a master of her craft. Her romances are sweepingly romantic. Her plot points are so incredibly unique and diverse. The way she weaves in culture into her books is truly something magical. I have 3 copies. I have the beautiful paperback, the original one. This is a first edition. I have this beautiful hardcover that my friend Lacey gifted me. Thank you, Lacey, so much. And then I have this cover right here that I love her. I love Beverly Jenkins, but like, this cover is not giving what this cover is giving, okay? This is a historical romance that takes place during the Underground Railroad in America. So our heroine is a part of the Underground Railroad. She's a safe house, and that is how she meets our hero, who is under the moniker the Black Daniel. Our hero, Galen, has made it his life mission of freeing African-American people, women, men, children, and he is kind of badly injured, so he ends up going to our heroine's safe house, and she nurses him back to health, and it follows their romance. The most romantic book I read. I don't want to do any spoilers, but there is a marriage proposal in this book that hands down the best marriage proposal I've ever read. Marriage proposal. Sorry, I can't talk today. Okay, so those were the historical romances that I reread constantly. Now this next book I think I've talked about on my channel because it is one of my favorite books. Yeah, I've mentioned it in like my top favorite books video before. And that is Strange Grace by Tessa Gratton. And this is a YA fantasy romance, which is very different for me. I'm normally not a fantasy girly, but this book right here has me in a chokehold, okay? So I feel like I can't even do the plot justice. It is so freaking unique. Okay, I'm gonna try and do it justice. So this follows a town who has basically made a bargain with the devil. So this town is very prosperous with their crops and their livestock and their health and their livelihood. And it is because years ago, witches from the town went into this forest and made a deal with the devil that every couple of years they're going to have what they call a slaughter moon, where they sacrifice a boy from the town to the devil, and they have like a chase. The devil gets to like chase them. Most boys do not make it out of the forest, some do. Well, something is going wrong with the bargain, and the slaughter moon is supposed to be spread out. Every single year that passes, the forest and the devil that made the bargain is getting hungrier and hungrier, and the slaughter moon becomes closer and closer. So it follows our 3 characters who are all connected to the forest in one way. One is a descendant of the original witch who made the bargain. Rune is known as the saint that is supposed to be sacrificed to the forest, and then Arthur is another character that is connected to the forest as well. And all 3 of them are actually in a poly relationship. They're all in a romance, both emotionally and physically. This is YA, so it's not as steamy, but the romance is so intricate and so like hauntingly beautiful. Type of book that like completely takes me out of my headspace. Like it enters me into a different universe. Just beautiful, the world building. I love reading it physically and listening to the audiobook at the same time. It's like such an immersive experience. And also, even though I've read this book, I think I've reread it maybe 4 times, I still like catch different nuances every single time that I reread it. Like that's how intricate this storyline is for me. And I just, every time I read it, I'm like, oh, I see what the author was doing there. Oh, look at that. Like I didn't notice that before. So this one is just like a hidden treasure for me. I absolutely love it because every time I reread it, it feels like I'm reading it for the first time. And I love it, especially because it's told in 3 different POVs. So yeah, you need to listen and read it at the same time because it's so beautifully, intricately done. Next one is a novella, and that is Go Deep by Risley Adams. I think this is one of my favorite novellas ever, and it is a French lover's romance. And when I tell you, this book is so sexy. Like honestly, that's why I reread it the most, because it is sexy. So our heroine is an erotica writer, and she is going through a reading slump. She's come out of a bad breakup and she needs some inspiration. So she propositions her best friend, who has been her best friend since they were kids, to kind of like have a friends with benefit situation with her so she can get some inspiration for like the steamy scenes in her book. And he agrees. And when I tell you our hero knows what he's doing, he is the sexiest, smoothest hero that I've ever read about. Like I love him. Gosh, this book perfect. Honestly, perfect. All right, the last one honestly is kind of random, and I don't know if I've talked about this a ton on my channel, and that is Top Secret by Serena Bowen. A male-male romance. So in this book, one of our heroes is actually in a relationship with a woman. Been in a relationship for a really long time, and her birthday's coming up, and for her birthday, she's like, I want to spice things up in the bedroom. I want to add a third. I want to have a threesome. I want to like add some spiciness into our relationship. So as the good boyfriend that he is, he ends up going on a dating app that is specifically designed for like hookups and finding thirds, with the intention of surprising his girlfriend and like fulfilling her wish. Well, he ends up meeting someone or matching with someone on this dating app, going on this dating app and connecting with a guy that he doesn't know that he goes to college with, but he does go to college with this guy. And they end up having an intense connection. And it kind of like opens the door for our hero to even think about his own sexuality and kind of realize what his relationship is lacking. It does have like a small cheating trope in this. It does. And I don't want to do any spoilers, but it is an MM romance. Like the girlfriend, they don't work out, okay? I think the reason I reread this one so much, I've never read it physically. I actually don't own it physically now that I'm thinking about it, which is bizarre. I really need to get this book now since I love it so much, but I reread it so many times because of the audiobook. This is dual narrated, but one of the narrators is Teddy Hamilton. And that's all I need to say, bestie. Teddy Hamilton is easily the best romance narrator ever. I'm not even an audiobook girly. It takes a lot for me to love an audiobook, but Teddy Hamilton will do it every time. Yes, he will. So yeah, I just read it because I just like love his voice, and that sounds creepy, but yeah. Anyway, so those are the 5 books that I continuously reread. Let me know what books you like to reread, or if you reread or annotate your books, let me know. As always, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to spend time with me. It means the world to me. Again, the playlist of all my back-to-back videos will be listed down below, and I will see you guys in tomorrow's video.